All right, ready. I'm going to make a quick video on a repair I'm doing right now in the middle of on my 2011 4runner. I did a full service a week ago, changed the oil, rotate the tires, top off fluids, that kind of stuff. And then when I back it out of my garage, I'm in a habit of putting it in four-wheel drive just to keep the four-wheel drive mechanisms all working properly, lubricated, actuators working. Well, this time, as I put it into four-wheel drive, the four-wheel drive lights and the low light, four-wheel low lights just started flashing on the dash immediately. Basically took it up to a buddy of mine's shop who has a lift. We hooked it up to his machine that reads codes. It's like a $15,000 machine. It wasn't throwing any codes. Kind of tried to basically troubleshoot the issue, and basically what it ended up being was this actuator assembly on the front differential. The way we figured it out was when we had it up on the lift. Let me turn it around here. When it was in four-wheel drive, the front drive shaft was spinning, but the axle, the differential, was not engaged. So these little actuators right here, basically the whole purpose of this whole actuator is to move this fork back and forth and to lock your diff or axle into four-wheel drive or out. So this is a new one right here. This is a new one. This one is from Japan, from Toyota. I would highly recommend you buy Toyota parts. Don't buy the knockoff crap. You can buy those really cheap on like eBay, but get the good ones because it will last longer. Now the whole point of this video is explaining how I got this piece of shit off. I have huge hands. I have a hard time moving around in areas, and I'm doing it in my garage. So a couple considerations to save you some heartache I'm going to go into quickly. So here's the old part right here. They have a tendency of just going bad. Some say that, just not using them will make them go bad, but I actually do use four-wheel drive a lot. I put it in four-wheel drive just to make sure it works. But it does look like it has a breather hole at the top of it. And my thought is it can get, because it does have a vacuum hose, so it's got to pull air. I'm thinking it does get water in there, and if I tore this thing apart, which I probably will do, take these screws out, I bet you that actuator in there is all seized up, full of grime. So anyway, I'm going to go through a few things to help you from making some stupid mistakes. Now, the first mistake is when you bust this thing off, you're going to lose your differential grease or heavy gear oil. What I did here was I'm turning around here, is I jacked it up from both sides and actually left the tires out of the garage to tilt the front up some so that I don't lose all of the gear oil, just some of it. You're going to lose some. And you're going to run 75 W90. Obviously I have it marked for my 4runner. I did the rear and fronts not too long ago. So I guess I'll be doing the front again. Now, first things first. Big mistake people make on differential fluid refills is they'll drain the fluid. And then they go to try to reach that fill plug at the top, and they can't get it off. And then you're screwed because all the fluid's gone. So I would recommend, if you're going to replace this thing, first thing you do is get under your vehicle and make sure you can get the fill plug off. I wrote down all the sizes. The fill plug on this thing is a 10 millimeter. Mine actually came off easy because I do replace the fluids regularly. So first thing, get that plug out to make sure that you will be able to fill it back up again. Now, I'm going to get under here real quick and show you what I had to go through to get this thing off. The first 3 bolts, I'm going to flip it around here. These first 3 bolts here came off pretty easy. It was this back one right here that was the real bitch. Now your vacuum hose, I would recommend unplugging it from the actual actuator assembly instead of trying to run this back up to the metal line in there. I couldn't get my hands there, so I'm just going to take this off and just plug the old vacuum hose in. It was in pretty good shape. So let's get under here and let me show you what I'm talking about. These are all the tools I use. Right here, I'll go back over the sizes in a minute. But if you can see, right there is your front differential, and you can see where it's dripping, where I took the actuator off. There's your plug, there's your vacuum hose. Now to get to that third bolt, I had to remove these bolts right here. This big bracket basically just holds your differential to the frame. So I took those off, and once you drop it, you can move it a little bit left to the right to get everything off. Now there's your drain plug. Obviously you aren't going to have to drain it, but all the way around there is your fill plug. There's my fill plug. These are the 4 bolts I had to take out, and obviously put your catchment down there. So pretty easy as what it's located. Now I had to take the skid plates off the front and the rear skid plates to get to this, and now that I have them off, I'll get under here and with a wire brush and get all that surface rust off and respray everything so that it doesn't rust anymore. I'm really good about the frame and stuff, but I've never had that skid plate off except for when I do the differential. So I'll do that. So yeah, there you go. Very simple. There's your diff. And it's just located right on the front right there with your vacuum hose and your plug. So let me see if I can get up with one hand. Big boy. Not too easy when you're 275. So we take you over here. So here's all the parts you're going to need. Your fill plug. You're going to need a 10 millimeter Allen bolt socket. The bolts for the assembly here, those are 12 millimeters. And to get them off, I used a shallow socket for the first 3. And then the back one that was hard to get to, I used a tall one. But I had to drop the bolts for that hold the differential to the frame. And those bolts, the bolt itself is a 22 millimeter. And then it has a nut on top that's a 19 millimeter. So as you can see, I'll use my big old breaking bar to get those things off. So the hard part is over. And just another word, this does not use a gasket. It just uses a gasket maker. I picked this Permatex right here because it's a 90-minute gasket. Typically, when you put a gasket on, you build the gasket up. It needs to sit and cure for at least a day. This one here says that, let me see here real quick. Let dry for 1 hour, then tighten to torque specs, and then allow 90 minutes before filling with fluids or returning to service. So technically, I can torque this down within an hour, and then within 90 minutes, I could put my fluid back in, and it should be back on the road. I'll wait till the end of the day just to be sure, but it's kind of nice to be able to get your job done in one day. So I think that's about it. I think I covered everything. That is an RTV silicon-based gasket maker. I bought the actuator on eBay from Japan. I think I paid about $400 for it. I don't know what a shop would charge you to replace that, but hopefully this helps some people out. There are a few videos on doing this, but they just kind of explain what the issue was, and then they just replaced it. So I just want to give you the bolt sizes and nut sizes and all that stuff so that you don't have to go searching over the internet. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.